Hello again, guys. I wanted to show you, this is exercise 8D. So that's your homework tonight, right? So this is number 1 from exercise 8D. I wanted to show you an example of how you're going to do this. Now this is taking Latin and putting it into English, okay? Now this one is going to be a little bit harder than what you did in 8C, and we'll review both of them tomorrow. But essentially what you're going to have to do here is you're going to have to look at your sentence and determine things with nouns, things like case, and therefore what form to put them in, what ending to put on them. You're going to have to look at your verbs, right, which is what we've been focusing on this chapter, and we're going to have to kind of look and see what ending we should put on the end of it. So first, this is a little conversation. So your first thing is, number 1, you have the servants talking. So let's just say that's why these are here. These are all in quotes. So if I want to go ahead and just say servants, why don't I just go ahead and do that? I can say say or we, right? That's pretty easy. Okay, now I want to get into the heart of my sentence. We are no longer sitting but are working hard. So the first thing I'm going to want to kind of do is decide in my sentence. I'm going to change colors here. Okay, what I need words for. So for example, no longer is its own little phrase. Do you guys remember what that is? Yeah, it's known yam, right? Not now, essentially. So I know no longer is going to be non yam. Then I have this word sitting. Now, that's not my only part of the verb, right? In this sentence, who's sitting? It's we, right? We are sitting, or we sit, okay? The are in here, we talked about this in like chapter 1, is a helping verb. I wouldn't use a form of to be for this. I would just say we sit, or we are sitting, right? We sit and we are sitting would be the same thing. So how would I take this word for sit and make it we? Well, I need to know the word for sit. So when I look it up in the dictionary, I get sedeo. Oh, okay. Go away. Okay. I get sedeo. Okay, thank you. Sedere, right? Now I look it up and I see there are macrons over those e's. That's a second conjugation verb. I can tell by the macron over the e. So that makes this vowel long. So if I want to say we, I need to add one of my endings. So my endings are ost, mus, tis, unt. Right, the we ending would be mus. So I want to add that to this. So I'm going to cut my re off. That e is long, so it's going to stay or go? It's going to stay, right? Then I'm going to add my ending, sedemus. Good. That's going to be how I'm saying we are sitting. So I want to say we are no longer sitting, right? That's going to be at the end of my phrase. So I can start with, let's change it back to purple here. So I can start with non yam sedemus. We are no longer sitting, but. Now I know the word for but, right? That's just said, but are working hard. Now if I take a look at this, okay, I have are working again, but I got to decide who's doing it. Who's working? It's again we, right? We're no longer sitting, but we are working hard. So if I wanted to make this we, I would need to do the mus again. So I'm going to have to look up the word for to work. Maybe I already know it, but it helps to look it up just to know what conjugation it is. You'll find out it's laborare, a first conjugation verb. So I still want to use the we function, so I'm going to take the re off, left with labora, and I add my ending, laboramos, right? So we are no longer sitting but are working, so I can do laboramos. Now I'm actually going to put that, I'm going to leave a little bit of space because that is my verb. It's going to be the end of my sentence. Now word order, I'm not necessarily going to care about it too much, but you know, when we can do it, we can do it. But we are working hard, and hard's kind of difficult. You may need to use the book to do this one. We know the word for hard is strenuous, right? So what form do you use there? This is kind of something new, but if you can understand it. Here, hard is being used as what part of speech? Does anybody know? I know it's weird that I'm asking you questions and you can't respond, but I'm just trying to have you think. But anyway, hard here is used as an adverb. And the way that I'm going to form adverbs in Latin is I'm going to take my adjective that it comes from, and I'm going to put an E on the end of it. So for example, if I wanted to say happily, I would take litus, the word for happy, and I would just make it lite, right? So ultimately, that would be happily. If I wanted to say angrily, I would take eratus and change it to erate. So here, if I want to say they're working hard, it would take strenuous, take the US off and add an E, and it becomes strenue. And that would be, we are no longer sitting, but we are working hard. Okay? So, for these, all right, keep in mind that it's really important as we go through and do 8D that when we have a verb, we look at it, right? And we try and determine from our verb what ending we would need based on the subject. Sorry, I got lost in erasing here. So if I wanted to do the next one, let's do a little bit of the next one. Okay, if you're watching this, that's good for you. You're getting some help. So now Aurelia is speaking, right? And Aurelia wants to say, Marcus, you are still sleeping. Okay, Marcus, you are still sleeping. And then she goes on, so you're going to need more than this. But if I were doing this in Latin, right, first off, Aurelia's name would just be Aurelia. So I just put that. She's the one speaking. Now, keep in mind that Aurelia is speaking to Marcus here, right? So I'm going through and thinking, well, all right, so I've got Marcus. I'm speaking directly to him, so he would have to be vocative. So I'm going to change his name to Marque, right? So he's going to have to be vocative Marcus. So Marcus will change to Marque. You are still sleeping. Now, I know that you are sleeping is my verb. So it would do the same thing again as saying you sleep. So how could I say you sleep? Well, I got to figure out the word for sleep. And when I go and look up the word for sleep, I find that it is dormire. Okay, so I want to say that's a fourth. It's got a long I. I'm going to say you sleep, so I'm going to use this S ending over here, cut off the RE. That I is long, it doesn't go anywhere, so it would just be dormis, right? So here, I would just say marque. My verb is going to be dormis, you are sleeping. Okay, and then I have this word still. Now I got to figure that out. Now if I don't know this, I can simply look it up. This is an adverb, so if I look it up in the back of the book, it's going to tell me. And you would notice that it's ad hoc. Marcus, you are still sleeping. And that's how I'm going to go about every single sentence here. So when I get a verb, okay, I need to keep in mind when I look at that verb, I need to figure out what the subject is and decide which ending to add. OST, must, tis, or unt. All right. So ultimately, there's 1 and a little bit of 2 just to give you a head start on your homework. Thanks for watching this. And if you need any extra help, please don't hesitate to micro me. Thanks, guys.